Welcome to this week's Endurance for Everyone podcast.
ZEndurance Now Coaching, the relentless pursuit of excellence. Are you looking to increase your fitness level, get stronger, or reach a new goal? There are many people who share that same desire, but often life or injuries get in the way, and their progress slows or even stops. Professional coaching brings a unique element to staying focused, developing the right fitness and nutrition plan, and having a certified coach to help you stay on target and reach your goals. ZEndurance Now helps you reach your goals through customized training plans, one-on-one consultation, and constant motivation. Whether you're a local or remote, we've got this. Visit www.zendurancenow.com and learn how we can help you.
Is for entertainment purposes only. Though the hosts of this show are certified Ironman coaches, their attempts at long-course triathlons and endurance events should not be taken as an endorsement for you to do something stupid too. You should make your own bad decisions, then podcast about it. Now, let's start the show.
I am tired today, Rob.
Sounds like you need a bigger cup of coffee, John.
Oh, my God. I need a cup of coffee. I haven't had coffee yet. That's the problem.
Maybe you should get a coffee, pour in a 5-hour energy, a Red Bull, and Mountain Dew.
That's an idea. Did I ever tell you about the Navy coffee we used to make?
I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, actually, where you put a scoop of instant in with your regular.
Well, yeah, the international coffee. Yeah. We used to brew a big pot of it. They had the big kettles in the Navy. I don't know what they have now. And then we would pour a cup and then put international coffee in with it. So I feel like I need that now. And I got good sleep last night. I went to bed early last night.
1 out of 6, John. Sleep is part of training.
Well, it was bed early, but it was like a little over 11 hours of driving yesterday. So
yeah, that'll get to you.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal when you realize, just 10 hours ago you were in Virginia, and here you are pulling into Tampa.
Tough life, John.
It was a fun trip. It was a fun trip, but it was exhausting. I think I think it's just catching up to me is what it is.
Yeah. Well, take a few days, go back to work, and recover from your vacation.
Work. Then, my God. Work doesn't stop when you go on trips.
No, it tends to pile up a little bit.
Yeah,
so
just a little bit because nobody else in the world can do what you do, so they all save it for you.
Yeah, and you're doing, your double duty, your data entry and your accounting there. So,
Exactly right. So, yeah, we won't get into that. But if anybody hasn't listened before or didn't listen last week, I did take a trip up to, among other things, but the one of the main reasons for the trip was to go up to the Runners World Festival in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, up in your neck, somewhere in your neck.
Up in my neck, but that's like saying, hey, just hop on over to Miami. It's in your neck, John. It's
exactly.
Go from the Keys to the Panhandle, Pennsylvania, corner to corner of the state. Philly to Erie is 7.5 hours. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's about Florida, right? Jacksonville to Key West. Here to Key West is 7 hours, but yeah, Andrew used to get on me about that. Pennsylvania's not all in the same spot.
Yeah.
But I was in Pennsylvania, let's put it that way.
Close enough, John. We'll call it.
Beautiful up there. I mean, the whole area, Bethlehem was very steel-oriented. It wasn't, but we went through Virginia first, stopped at in Blacksburg, that area, for the first night. Beautiful area,
Yes.
And then drove into Pennsylvania the next day and went up to Jersey after Runner's World and to Virginia for a night and then back home. Yeah, like I said, went up to Runner's World, got there Friday night, and did the 10K Saturday, and went very well, Rob.
How'd it go? I mean, I saw online, but for those who aren't, following you on Facebook and so forth, I'd like to hear more about it.
Why aren't they, though? if they're not, I mean,
too many cat memes to get through. Apparently,
I'm a very interesting person, and they should all be following me.
And you're so humble.
Yeah, I'm so humble. I got up that morning. It was so cold, Rob. How the hell do you do that?
So cold, John. I want to know what you define as so cold.
It was 43.
Oh, John.
It doesn't get into
That's almost glove weather.
Oh, I had gloves on. Believe me, there were gloves on my hands. And I'm thinking, God, well, maybe when the sun comes out, it'll get a little warmer. I was freezing. Yeah. I was freezing.
As a comparison for everyone, John, it is currently 45 right now, and our high is going to be 49 today.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, see, well, it was cool here today. It was 62 this morning, which is cool for us. That's cool in Florida in October. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it usually doesn't start getting to the 60s until even December sometimes.
Yeah.
And we see 40s maybe in January.
Yeah, for a day.
Yeah, for January 17th. But, we got up. It was cold. The 5K went off around, I think, 8 o'clock. The 5K started. So I was out there. I was looking because I know Megan Nanasinkum was up there, and she was trying for a sub 30. So I missed her somehow come in front of me. So we were standing outside waiting for her, and she made it in 29:58. Nice, right?
That sounds like sub 30 to me.
That's cutting it. But then she turns around, she's doing the 10K with also.
Oh, so they call it what, the 5 and dime?
Yeah, they call it the hat trick if you do the
That's all
run.
3 though.
Yeah, trail run 5 and 10 is the hat trick, and then the Grand Slam is including the half marathon on Sunday.
Oh,
so I'll tell you,
next year, John. Maybe next year I'll join you there.
Yeah, it was a good run though. It was very hilly. I mean, I looked at the course and I'm saying, well, I mean, my personal best in a 10K, and I know this is slow, but my personal best in a 10K was an hour 51 a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I was being optimistic. I was saying maybe 140 going in, but then I started looking at the hills. I said, well, maybe 145.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking, I looked at Nancy. I said, I'll be lucky to get 145 with these hills. I felt good, but I just didn't know, because I don't do a lot of hill running, right?
Well, it's hard when you don't have the hills there,
Right.
So when you have to drive to go seek them out. I'm not saying that in a negative way. You are in a predominantly flat area. You have to take what's given to you.
Right. So, I felt good. I felt okay. The race started. It did warm up a little bit. It was maybe 50, 51 by the time the race started at 9:30. Sun was out, so I mean, I wasn't wearing gloves or anything. I mean, I was wearing a long sleeved undershirt underneath a t-shirt, but I rolled those sleeves up pretty quick.
Okay.
Within the first mile, you hit the first really climb, and I was trying to stick to like the normal run walk that I do, 30-second, 1 minute.
Right.
But with the hills, it started becoming problematic. So what I started doing was I ran downhill and flats, and I walked uphill.
Okay.
So I think what turned out a lot is that I was running more than I normally do.
Right.
I wasn't running. I mean, I wasn't out and out running. It was like a slow jog, like I do my Ironman shuffle. Because I knew I was going longer, and I kept looking at my watch, and I thought my watch was wrong. I said, this can't be right. Because the overall pace was much lower than I expected it to be. Mm-hmm. So I said, there's something's wrong. Something's up with this. But I kept going. I saw Megan and Stephanie Walsh passed me. So I got to meet Stephanie.
Good.
She's been a follower of the show since, the Andrew days. And came up on Tim Stryker, who's the one that started the Sub 30 group.
Yep.
So I came up on it, saw his name on Spiker. I'm sorry. I said Strike. Did I say Striker? You know what I mean.
I knew who you meant, John. I knew
who I meant.
Wasn't listening that closely.
I saw his last name on, like I was coming up behind him, so I came around the side of him. I said, "Are you Ted? Or are you Tim?" I'm forgetting his name. My brain is totally gone.
Ted Spiker.
That's what it is, right? Ted.
Yes.
See, I'm sorry, guys. My brain's
not. At least you're issuing the corrections as you're going, John.
Yeah, I know. As it comes out of my mouth, I'm saying that doesn't sound right. Yeah. That's okay. I have my little whiteboard here, and I had Stephanie Walsh up there as Sarah Walsh, and I knew that wasn't right too. But so I got it all corrected. So anyway, I came around to you, Ted, and he said, yeah. And I said, John Harris. And he goes, oh, hey, man. Because he remember we had him on the show back to back.
Yeah.
So spoke to him for a few minutes, and then he took off. I tried to stay with Megan and Stephanie for a while, but I couldn't. They were doing a 30-30. I'm just not, I couldn't keep up with them. So I told them, don't worry about it. Just keep going. So got through it. Came around, and I got with like two. It went very fast. But I didn't feel like I knew I was going faster than I normally did, but it didn't feel like I was. I didn't feel like I was like I do down here,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Got to like mile 4, came in front of the Sands, the casino, and got looked at my watch and said, God, there's a chance I can beat an hour 30. That cannot be right. I just kept telling cannot be right.
Yeah.
So I just pushed it through, and I had 6.46 miles on my watch. So much over the 6.2. I had on my watch 1:33.
Mm-hmm. What was the chip time for you?
The official time was 1:33:37.
There you go, John.
So, and I'm saying, but mine was like, because I knew what 6.4. And I said, well, my overall pace was showing like at 14:37.
Yeah.
It had it at a 15:09, but that was because they based it on a 6.2, and I had a 6.46 miles. So that was the difference. So basically, I beat my personal best by 18 minutes.
That's fantastic, John.
With hills.
Yeah. Now, if you might, can you give me some numbers? I know you like your numbers. What was your total elevation gain? You keep saying hills.
296 feet.
296. Okay.
Yeah, for 6 miles. Yeah, I looked at it. It doesn't seem like a lot when you say it like that, but I mean, there were some steeper climbs on that. I mean, that I was huffing up that, even walking, but I was maintaining a good pace, even going up the hill. I was maintaining less than, between 16 and 17.
Right.
Going up them, but I was running at like a 11 to 12.
Right.
So that's the difference. But, and I was talking to Nancy on the way back. I said, the only difference I can figure it out is the cool weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been, if you listen to the show back, and I've never been a believer in that.
Right.
How cool weather can make you faster.
You've always been cautiously skeptical of it.
Right.
And, you'd go through and give the data, but once again, you've never had the, I guess the N1 anecdotal to go with it. You've always been able to say, well, this says if it's X amount, so much time per degree. I forget what it exactly is, whether it's a minute per 10 degrees or however it is, but it seems like you experienced that.
Yeah. That's the only way that it could have gotten that much faster.
Yeah.
That I'm not beating myself through a 95-degree run. That it's 51 degrees.
Yeah.
So I have to change my stance on it, I guess. I have to say, well, there's something to this.
I'd like to see as another data point for you, like if you were to come up this direction or anywhere and do a hilly run in a little, when I say, I'm not saying hot, because 50 degrees is perfect running weather for me. I like it. That's shorts and a t-shirt. That's maybe, if it's in the 40s, I might put on just a light set of mittens. In the 30s, I'm getting into heavier ones and maybe a set of tights or pants at that point. Right. But, that 40 to 50 degree temperature is fantastic. My question, or I'd say I'd like to see you do one with a little bit of warmer, although in the hills is, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, John, I think you know that, when you're going, you're very consistent when you're doing your run. And when you're doing a flat, you're doing a very consistent pace. But you were almost doing a little bit of speed work because you were going slower up the hills. But you had that, I know it very well, the gravity assist down and running on the flats. So, if you're coming off, just like you're getting your momentum, you're coming off the hill, down the hill, you're probably going at a better clip. And it's actually a little easier for us bigger guys because the gravity likes to pull us that way, pulls you into the flats where you can keep a little bit better of a pace. And then it's just you're getting a better average because, you're the ups and the downs.
Yeah, there's got to be, what I would like to do, honestly, is like find something in that weather, in that kind of weather, and it be all flat as possible and see what I could do. You know? I mean, that was with hills. I mean, what could I do a 10K up there if it was flat?
Oh, there's a boatload of them out there, John. You can come up and do.
Yeah, so I mean that now I'm interested. Now I'm saying, because I was training down here. I was nowhere near that kind of time, that kind of overall pace. some of my workouts were maybe, they were under 15, but, I was beat up after them,
Right.
I could do a 14:30 or 14, or I think I had under a 14:1 on one, but I felt awful afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I was like, you could talk to anybody who saw me after the race. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
No pain in my feet, no pain in my legs, nothing. I felt like I gave everything I had. I mean, I couldn't have gone faster than I was going.
Right.
But afterwards, it was like immediate relief. I was fine. No pain.
Right.
I mean, normally I'm walking like, an old man. I'm an older man, I guess, but an older man than I am after these races, especially the next morning when I get up, and
right.
I was perfectly fine.
Good.
So
I'm glad to hear that.
We hopped right in the car, drove to New Jersey,
Which for all of you listening out there is exactly opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stretch out, walk around, and not sit stagnant and stationary. But we all got to do what we got to do.
Well, so. Yeah, we were on a schedule. We were on a schedule. The other thing that I noticed was this is our concept of the week, by the way, is because we did get a question about it when I said something about it. The PA to HR ratio.
Oh, it's PA to HR? I thought it was your PA HR, John, which is why it was so much better than your FL HR.
I see what you did there. Yeah, maybe we could do it like that. My PA HR is this, but my FL HR is this.
There you go.
My FL HR is like 25%.
Yeah.
But so this is really a pretty basic concept. In Training Peaks, it tells you what it is. There's a big formula for it, but Training Peaks does it for you. PA to HR is your pace to heart rate ratio.
Okay.
So basically the concept is your heart rate should follow your pace. So as your pace gets more intense and faster, your heart rate should go up with it. When your pace slows down, your heart rate should drop with it.
Okay.
So, and it gives you like a percentage. So, so if you're perfectly, your pace is going up and your heart rate goes right along with it, follows it everywhere. A perfect ratio is going to be 0%.
Okay.
You're right on line with it. No, I've never seen anybody close to that. I've seen 3%, but I've never seen
Dave. Go Dave. Go Steve.
Yeah.
One of those two.
It's one of them, right? Was it? Mine has normally been anything within 5% is considered fit.
Okay.
Okay. You're always within 5%,
What?
on yours. Very rarely do you come out of that, so you're pretty good. So is Steve. I haven't really looked at Dave's a lot, but because he's still just getting motivated into it. He looks a lot like me, to be honest, in his ratios. Mine down here have run from 12% as a low to, like I said, 23, 24%, which means basically that my heart rate keeps going up even as my pace slows down. So you get that funneling out. Not good, but that has a lot to do with, the weather, things like that,
Right.
Like the joke I always make, I hit zone 2 getting out of the car.
Yeah. Hit zone 2 just thinking about it.
Just thinking about going for a run, I hit zone 2.
Right.
Yeah, it's like almost like I don't usually look at my own, but I looked at it today just like because I wanted to see, and it was 5%. So I was in there. So that has a lot to do with the weather, I think, as well, and that's why I felt so good afterwards. It was coming down with it and it was flowing through. So, so basically, if you're using Training Peaks, it's always on the left. If you have to look into like the section where it says like analyze, if you hit that button, it'll show you your PA to HR. Now, the best way to do it is actually power to HR, which is on a bike, but not everybody has power.
I don't
on their bikes, and I know Randy does, and Jennifer does, and I do have a power meter for my bike, but I haven't. I mean, really, the last bike I've done has been months.
Yeah.
For a real training bike ride. So I haven't been using it.
I have not been on my bike either. You know that. You've seen my data. You give me, I think I've done exactly none of all the bikes you've given me in the last, 2 months?
Yeah, exactly none.
let me do the math on that. Yeah, 0.0%.
0%. So that's what P8HR is. So if you ever hear us, talk about that, that's what it is. And like I said,
now, John, I was very curious. The last run that I did in Florida was when I visited my father, January 30th of 17. My PA2HR was 12.27.
There you go. But that's heat. It was probably like, 70 degrees?
If nothing, I remember that distinctly being very humid when I was down there as well. So
yeah. So, I mean, weather definitely is going to affect it. You're going to be hotter down here. You're going to be sweating a lot more. It just it makes you feel a little bit more beat up.
Yeah, I do like that my elevation gain was 22 feet for that run.
I've had runs that were negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't start and end at the same place, John?
Yeah. Well, so I don't know how that happens, right? I do.
Right.
It's like always when you do an out and back and then you look at the elevation profile and it doesn't match. It should be like a mirror image
zero.
of each other.
Yeah.
Then
that didn't work out. Something's off on your watch there.
Yeah, something's off on something. So, I'm basically a convert to this cool running notion.
So you're going to be moving to Pennsylvania?
No.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Absolutely not. I tell you what, though, I was, and I lived in Virginia for a while, but it was over, in the Hampton Roads area with the Navy. I fell in love with Virginia. That was a nice little area up there. Mm-hmm. I could see myself living up there. Maybe in retirement, Everybody else comes south, I go north.
Sometime in the next 30 years, you'll move there then, John?
Yeah.
When you saved enough?
Yeah, exactly. my cushy government job,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the area. I like the woods, I guess is the way to say it. What we did was we went to the Virginia Tech campus and kind of walked around there, and just beautiful campus. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
several times. Like I said, my wife went to school there, so all the buildings are what they call the Hokie Stone and all that.
Yeah, the Hokie Stone. Yeah, we parked right outside of the main building. I can't remember the hall, but where the memorial is.
Okay.
Right there. So we were on the drill field and kind of walked over to where the chapel is, and then walked over to the bookstore and things like that. So it was beautiful. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I would love to go to school someplace like that. Yeah,
John, there's still time. No. You can go back for your 8th degree.
My eighth master's degree. Yeah, yeah, because it's working so well for me having all this education. Right? I do podcasting for free.
I was going to say, John, it's midday on Wednesday, and you got to take a day off to talk with me. I mean, what better day is there?
I didn't get the day off. I took an hour lunch. So
this is not a 2-hour special. Got it.
No. John has to go back to work. But John didn't want to. John has things to do after work, so John wanted to. See, I'm talking to third person now. You can't do that to me. John's upset.
John's lost down a rabbit hole.
So, you had somebody ask you a question today, right? Or was it today?
I did. Well, it was actually about an hour ago. Brandon Miller had asked me, and he has already got a spoiler with my confession on not riding at all recently. But his question to me was, he's going to be going inside onto the trainer, and this matches up with a lot of the stuff in the group here recently, and asked if I had any decent workouts, or do I just basically stick to the zone 2 whenever I'm on the trainer. So, I figured the most appropriate response, although sarcastically, would have been, well, let your coach tell you what to do.
There you go.
But hey, I didn't know if you wanted to cover some of that, the couple of the quick little workouts that you had there, and or the ZWIFT thing. I still have yet to ever sign up nor use it, but I know that that's a nice thing that people have just recently been talking about in the group, and you have some experience.
Yeah, I used to use ZWIFT all the time, and back when I used my trainer all the time, but it's a nice little program, and it's distracting. That's the best thing about it, right? And it gives you your little, you set up you can throw it to a TV, or you set up your computer or laptop in front of you, and it gives you a little icon. You can ride with people, so like if Roxanne's racing at the same time or riding at the same time, I see a little icon with her name on it.
Yeah,
and I can get behind her.
Draft.
bump her a little bit. I can go by her and give her a nudge with my elbow. You can.
Does your little character like wiggle on the screen? Like, hey.
Oh yeah. It's a very good program. I'm sure it's getting better. I haven't used it in a while. But it's a way for people like that are all over the country. Like I said online, it's like they need to create like E4E rides and invite people in, and then everybody can get on at once, and everybody's riding together. So to speak.
Now, take me down to a base level on that, and we're going to tie it kind of back to what Brandon's asking, and that is, let's say you, John, just jump on for a Zone 2 35-minute, and you're just straight pedaling. A couple questions I have there. One, can I match up and like ride your Ghost later on? Two, is it only when it's live? But also, if you're doing your Zone 2 thing, and let's say you have me doing sprints, does my little guy actually like sprint out ahead, then slow down?
Oh yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, it absolutely will. Yeah, if I say like I'm on there and I see Jennifer up ahead, I can speed up to catch her.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely goes. It reads off your Ant Plus, so it plugs into your laptop or wherever you're using.
Okay.
If you're using a smart trainer like a kicker or something like that, it reads from that.
Yeah. Which I would like to put out there to everyone. The trainer that I'm currently using is a very dumb trainer, not a smart one, right, from Nash Bar, that I'm happy, because the one I had previous was a eBay special 8 years ago, $50 shipped to me, which that's the quality we were dealing with. So now I have like a $150 Nash Bar one. I have not stepped up to the $1,000+ kicker. If anybody wants to, maybe send me one, I would be happy to test that out. Let you know how I like it.
Yeah, that's where I had to like step back a little bit in that little discussion, because when people start talking about smart trainers and even changing out wheels, having an extra wheel, things like that, I mean, you're talking about money now. And like you said, you can go out and spend $100 on a trainer. It's not a smart trainer. It'll do the job.
Right. Now, I will admit to buying a training wheel, John, and that mostly is because two reasons. Is I had tracked the mileage on my bike, and obviously it's going to be running my gears and my drivetrain a little bit, but I like to know the distance on my tires, and I didn't want to have one tire, my front, different than my rear. In addition, the shop, I went to my local bike shop, they actually messed up and ordered me a hybrid wheel, which was obviously a little thicker diameter than my road wheel. So I got almost like instant speed, because everything I'm doing on the trainer, I have more rolling resistance. So as soon as I put my wheel back on it and I go back outside, I'm instantly faster. Although, once again, all told, wheel, tire, cassette, everything was like $120. I did not buy a super duper high end one because I wasn't worried about stability, longevity, or any of that stuff. I knew that it was going to, I didn't care that it was heavier,
Right. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, even like you say, $100, $150, to a lot of people, that's nothing. And
to some people,
drop in a bucket. That could be a third of someone's paycheck, or someone. Yeah. And I think that's what it goes down. People forget sometimes, and it kind of goes down that bent, is that people forget that some people don't have that kind of money to throw out there, even $100, I might be able to afford 100, but I'm not going to be able to afford an $800 kicker trainer. I can't. And I would
say that too. My mom, when I was looking to get the trainer, she bought me the trainer for Christmas. So since I had already earmarked $150 to buy the trainer, I just spent the money and bought the wheel. So that way I was, in the same place, if you were. Yeah.
I mean, if you got the wherewithal to do it, go for it, Yes. But I start looking at, return on investment things. Okay, I could spend $1,200 that I don't have, and what am I going to get from it? Yeah, I'll get faster and I'll be able to train better and blah blah blah, but I'm not winning money at these events. I'm not doing that. So if you have that kind of cash to just be able to spend and not put yourself into a hole because you're not paying bills because of it, then go for it. Hell, go for it.
Oh, definitely.
We know people, in the group that have that kind of money, and that's fine.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a little bit relative going back to our discussion where we live. If I lived where you lived, based on the temperature where I'm currently at, I would be riding outside year round.
Right.
You know, even when it dips down, into I will ride my bike no problem outside here in the 30s, as long as it's not icy or it hasn't, if it has snowed and they threw the cinders down or whatever, because I don't want to get, flats. But, I will ride outside absolutely as much as possible. But I'm talking sub, 32 degree weather. If I'm risking ice out on the road, I'm definitely inside on the trainer. It's just safer that way.
Yeah,
so
and lifestyle on top of it. I can use Jennifer as an example of this. I mean, she's working 12-hour days, then she's rounding for 3-4 hours at night, and
yes,
the time is not there. So
yeah,
and as a physician, she does have that. She has the ability to get these things, and
yes,
it works for her. So she can go home at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning and do an hour.
Yes.
On the trainer. She's not going to be able to go outside.
Right.
So, that's why she does need something like that in order to keep her fitness up, and she's training for that Fondo in, where's it? Costa Rica, I think. So,
that sounds fantastic. I've heard nothing else other than I just heard bike riding somewhere warm. I'm in.
Fondo in Costa Rica, yeah. And if you're able to do that, outstanding. But that helps her. That gets her out, keeps her fitness up without her having to worry about. And she's getting to the level, I think, that she's become. She was always a strong cyclist, but she's getting better and better and better. So a lot of people that even we would normally ride with, like she couldn't ride with me anymore. She would dust me. She always dusted me anywhere, but she'd really dust me now. So it's not.
That's where, and now, granted, and I'm not saying this sounds snooty and saying she could always just grab a different bike. I'm assuming she has multiples. I've gone out, and that being said, if I'm out, I have 2 or 3 different bikes. And that being said, I don't have a lot of money into any of them. Most of them are hand-me-downs. Like the cross bike I picked up, I got it for $200. It's 10 years old. My tri bike, I've had it for 8 years now, and it was 5 years old used at that point. My mountain bike cost me nothing. I literally got it for free. So, but I've gone out with people, when I say of different abilities, and I've then taken an older, heavier bike. Like literally, I have a original 1984 Fuji that has the original down tube shifters, gum wall tires, and so forth. So I've taken that bike out to basically slow me down and give me a harder workout to keep me at the same pace as someone else too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have, once again, now that's the whole wherewithal. Like I call it the stable. I got all the bikes hanging up in my garage. Although, all told, I guarantee I'd have less in all my bikes than some people have in one bike.
Yeah, she's not. I haven't ridden with her in a while, but the last time I knew, she had 3 bikes. She had the one she rides, is the Bianchi, and then she has a tri bike, which I think is what's on the trainer. But and then she has a mountain bike. Unless she's got more of a stable now. But in any case, the thing is that a kicker or a smart trainer like that, if you're attached to ZWIFT and you're riding a hill workout on ZWIFT, it's going to change automatically based on the elevation that's on the system.
Right.
So if it tells you got a 10% climb on it, ZWIFT, the kicker is automatically going to change
the tension
to meet that. The problem with having a trainer like you or I have, it doesn't do that.
Now, let me ask, because I don't even know what kind you have. In mine, there was a $100 or $120 Nash bar, and it was $150. I bought the one when I said has the remote. I'm using air quotes. They call it remote, but it's basically just a little tension knob that you put on your handlebars that's connected by a cable. I went for that so I could, because the other one, which mine, I still shift gears to go faster, slower, etc. But I can crank it down and give it more tension.
Yeah, I have that too. It doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. It seems like I'm really fighting it to get it to change sometimes. Yeah, and obviously you can change, to change speeds. You're still shifting.
Right.
But yeah, and then you go into the tire like people were talking about, because you are going to flatten out a tire if it's always on the trainer. It's going to flatten out.
And people, what he means by that is you're not necessarily going to get a flat, like you have to change your tube because, you might, pinch something in there. Yeah. Your tire is going to wear 100% perfectly a flat spot to where if you then were to take it out on the road, the bike sits straight up and down. If you start to lean it, you feel it feels goofy because the tire is no longer rounded. It is flat.
So the big reason too. Now, I never saw anything. Someone posted, I don't remember who it was, trainer tape. I've never seen that before, that you put over the tire to protect the tire. Have you seen that before?
I haven't, but once again, my most expensive tire is $20. I don't, I'm not exactly riding really expensive ones.
Right. Yeah, you're riding what I ride. But I never even see the tape. That was new. Okay, so maybe that helps. But and Dustin and Brent, I guess, jumped in and said, to use if you can change out a tire, but you're not changing out a tire, you need a new cassette. You need you need doubles of everything, right? So yeah. But to go back to what you were saying, he was asking more about workouts, right?
Yes.
So.
And I actually went to your blog in case you didn't have it pulled up there to reference the one that we had talked about the other week. So here's and John, you reading right from yours, taking the words out of your mouth, and this is the summary is 15-minute workout. I guarantee your legs will be noodles after. Do it once a week as your workout, and your climbing skills will improve tenfold. That's the Fat Slow Triathlete guarantee there.
Oh, God. Well, this is the one that I did, and I could barely stand afterwards. It did it. Yeah. And
then what you want to do is, if you have the tension knob, like we both talked about, set the tension so that you have to be out of the saddle to even move the pedals. Out of the saddle, go as hard as you can for 1 minute. Sit down and rest for 2 minutes. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. You're done. Now, John, just a slight clarification there for me and anyone else that would like to try to mimic this. So you're basically doing a 3-minute segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Obviously, there's your 15. Out of the saddle for 1 minute, hard as you can. Sit down and rest. You're now taking, like mine is a 1 to 5 attention knob, but you're saying I should go with hypothetically the 5 tension. That's as hard as I could possibly go, and maybe a harder gear, maybe like big ring front, small in the rear or something, right? And to just pound it out. Then take that from the 5 to the 1, so I could at least sit down and keep moving my legs, and then put it back up.
Yep. And just do it 5 times.
Okay.
I like to know other people trying it and tell me how they do. I mean, maybe I'm just, maybe my fitness is not as good as it, but that kicked my butt.
I could say this, and I'll go to it and back away from it. I had tried it kind of once a long time ago and gave up. But when I say gave up, I will try it again. The old trainer I had the little itty bitty, like when I say this way, where it connected to my axle, it was almost like just little like sockets, if you will. They were like very small. Like if you put your thumb and your pointer finger together, put your thumb on your pointer knuckle, it was a real small connection point. This new Nash bar one I have, it's like bear claws. I mean, it grips the bicycle. It doesn't let it go anywhere. So, I think I told the story about me wrecking my stationary bike. That was on my old trainer because it just let loose. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel stable enough to get up out of the saddle on that one. My new trainer is much more secure. So anybody might want to test that first. If you're thinking you might come out, you don't want to wreck in the house. That's not a lot of fun.
No. Yeah. I mean, the other thing I thought of were the rollers. Using rollers. I don't know how people do that, to be honest.
I've never been on a set, and I would absolutely love to. So
just to try it out.
That seems like to me. Now, once again, I've never been on it. Seems like that would be more of a speed workout than because I mean that you don't exactly you obviously are shifting your gears, but once again, you're not getting tension. You're not getting the increased tension like you're going uphill or downhill.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know.
But you're getting you're getting the whole stability thing,
Yeah, the right to left movement.
Right.
That's what intrigues me. That's why I'd like to try it.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
So what else you got, John? What other patent pending workouts would you like to trademark infringements we discuss here?
They're not patent pending, but it's the ones that I throw at you normally are ladders. The same type of thing. I would tell you to do this outside too. It's almost easier on a trainer. Because you can control it a little bit. Where you work out. You get into like the easiest gear. And go hard 3 minutes, then go up 1 gear 3 minutes, go up 1 gear 3 minutes, go up until you get to the very hardest gear, then level off and then work back down. And you do that a few times.
Yeah. You can adjust those intervals. Yeah. And or the like how you normally give them to me is, like I said, if it looks like a 2 pyramid thing, if I'm looking at it, that would generally be a 2-hour one, because you have one worked out where it's basically one pyramid is an hour, and then the next pyramid or interval up and down is another hour, right. And so that you have me as a 2-hour, a 1 hour, but that you had shortened some of them at one point late last year, almost a year ago, November. I'm looking at one of them here. I have a 17-mile ride with a double pyramid looking on it, and but they were much shorter intervals. Instead of 3 minutes, I think you had me going. No, those were 3 minutes. So did I just cut the workout in half? I don't know. You can, I'm saying you can decrease. It's a green light, John. So I did what you told me to.
Okay.
But yeah, you can shorten it, lengthen it, or the intervals, or you can do 1, 2, 3, whatever is going to accommodate your time needs and what you feel is appropriate.
Yeah, and that's why I build them like that. A lot of times is so I can adjust it to a time. If I know that. I don't know if you've noticed it, but even on run workouts, I'll do that. If I just want you an hour, then I can adjust like a workout to just meet an hour, by removing a whole section or something like that. If I'm feeling like nice, or the other way around, I can also increase it by 30 minutes by adding another pyramid, right?
Right. Well, that's why, and I'm looking at here, obviously with your step up, step down, the one that you had me do there was 10 minutes. Warm up 3, 3, 3, 3, and that was a RPE 6, 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. Then it was a straight ramp down, and then a 5-minute recovery. How you lengthen these out for me generally is you'll have me go up those 4 steps, then that you'll have like a mini recovery period, like a 5-minute pedal in between, and then you'll have me go straight back to that 9, 8, step back down. So you add almost 10 minutes per pyramid or ladder interval, however you want to say it, with that little interjection right there. Right. But once again, if you want to do a 1 minute, 1 minute, you can. If you don't, John once again tells me, rate of perceived exertion, because I don't have power. If you have power and you want to train by a certain power zones, you can, or you can also just go by speed. You could just say, hey, I'm going to try to keep the same, I'll keep a 10 mile per hour, then an 11, then a 15, then a 20, or whatever you want to step up at. And you can keep, once again, you can change your gearing to do that. So you're either going to be pedaling harder with a lower cadence, or you could just try to spin faster in the same gear. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Do you want more leg turnover, or do you want to build some of that deep power? You go back a long time ago when John and I were talking, we both talk about how climbing, how we climb differently. John stays in the saddle most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong there, and I'm out of the saddle 95% of the time. And read different articles. It's going to tell you each one of those is going to be beneficial or not advantageous, depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I'll get out of the saddle for short periods, but I know you keep saying it, but when I come out of the saddle, you're talking about 250 pounds going up and down on that pedal. A little bit different than someone who's 170 pounds going up on that pedal, right?
Yeah, and I'm dead smack in the middle. I'm riding with my buddy John Bear, and so my friend John, we go up and we did the King of the Mountain bike race. Last year I was like 8 minutes ahead of him. This year I was about a minute slower, and he beat me by about a minute. But once again, he's 165 pounds too. Right, so right. It's much different for him, and I'm not complaining. Good for him. I'm very happy that he's liking it that much.
Right. He might have the exact same abilities as well as far as power that you have. Or maybe even a little less, but his power to weight ratio is better because he's got the same power but weighs 35 pounds less than you do.
Yeah.
So he's going to move faster.
Yep.
That's physics, basic physics, high school physics,
Physics.
same amount, 100 pounds of power, and you have a 100-pound person and a 200-pound person, cuts it in half, right?
Yep.
So you're going to be half as fast as the person who weighs less, right?
Or half as strong, depending on your math. Yeah.
Right. If I have my math right, some physics person out there will calculate that. But
yeah.
So I could have, I talk about that a lot, is that it's like at my current fitness right now, if I weighed 50 pounds less, I'd be so much better. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even have to get any more fit than I am now.
Right.
As far as strength, because I do have the strength. Even running. I mean, I'm running in my running sections, 10, 11, 12-minute miles pace. Mm-hmm. If I weighed 50 pounds less, how much faster could I be?
Yes. How much faster, or how much, when I say longer, could you go using the same sustained effort?
Right. So, whereas, now I have my next race is a half marathon in December 2nd. So I have 37 days, give or take.
Right. Is that a Saturday?
It is a Saturday, I believe. Yes, because I'm going down on a Friday, staying overnight, doing the race, and then driving back. It's down in the Everglades.
Yeah, I remember that, because I said I'm looking at that Nittany Valley half marathon. I thought it was the 3rd, which I believe is a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, yeah. So, and that's my last race of the year. I don't have another one until January 6th.
You're not going to do like a jingle jog or a New Year's 5K?
Maybe not a New Year's, because I do have the race on the 6th, and that's going back to Croom trail run 25K.
Yeah.
So the only reason I really want to do that is because I want to measure it to the last year, see if I got any better. And then starting in we don't even know the kickoff, starting November, December timeframe, the training for St. Anthony's triathlon starts with team training.
You did.
So
you did say that's coming up.
Yeah, that's in April, so that starts. So that's and I haven't really done triathlon training in a long time, so that's going to be interesting.
Time to blow the dust off the equipment, John. Get going at it.
Yeah, including, blow the dust off me. But, it's been a big year, man. It's been a year of changes. So,
been a good year, John, hasn't it?
A good year, yeah. Good in some way, bad in others, and I'm just looking forward to another, a better full year. There's always ups and downs, right? But good things happen this year, so can only get better, right?
If you're at bottom, true. Yes. I always like to say, people say like, "Hey, how's it going?" It could be better, could be worse, John. We've said that 2 or 3 times in this today. You know what I mean? Hey, sometimes you have $100 to some people's nothing, and some to people it's the world. It could always be better, could always be worse. So just be happy for what you have, and don't take it for granted.
Yeah. I want to say I appreciate the comments that have been coming in from the show. I got some interesting ones recently that from the
tell.
Well, it was basically saying that they love the when we talk about workouts and stuff like that, kind of what we've been doing today, with the bike. But they like the shows that we don't talk about workouts at all, that we're just talking about mental stuff and things like that they enjoy.
They just like prying into your brain, John, and seeing what's going on,
which is kind of scary. You don't want to go in there.
Beware of the clowns.
Yeah, beware of the clowns in the sewer. Go ahead, take it. So it's good. I mean, we're going to try to do that a little bit more. I think we talked about maybe a couple of topics for next week or the week after that'll delve in a little bit more into that, because when you're in the car for 14 hours, you tend to start
your mind starts wandering, John.
Mind starts going on things, right? And then when you have a driving partner next to you that's right along with you with it, you start digging into stuff. So it's good. I did want to, at the end here, get into like this exercise pill thing. I posted it in the group. I sent it to you. it's been around for a while. Now I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not remembering what the name of it is. What's interesting to me is that it's basically what it's doing is controlling your fat and fitness, your fat levels and your fitness levels by taking a pill. And it's been around for longer than what the article that I read was even kind of talking about. It's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. It was interesting when I kind of Googled it and saw YouTube on all these bodybuilders already using this stuff.
Right. And
the article itself stated that the problem with when it goes to clinical trials, someone already has it and someone's going to put it out there. Usually someone from China.
Yes.
Is going to do it and put it out there. And so you get all these guinea pigs, using it on themselves to see if it works, and the first batch, I guess they showed increased tumor size, but then this other batch coming out is saying that it doesn't have any effect on it. The basic question at the end, and this was sent to me, Greg Nash sent it to me. Mm-hmm. The question at the end was really interesting. Is like, if there's a pill that you can take that'll make you fit and make you lose weight without having any side effects, and it's almost like they were saying that it's not that if you should take it, everybody should take it. Would that still be cheating when it comes to sports?
Okay.
Right. So that's an interesting question to me. What do you think about that?
First off, I'm looking at the article right now, and I'm going to mispronounce this. GlaxoSmithKline PLC, the compound called GW501516. Mm-hmm. Now, John, once again, I could take either side of anything. Okay, so I'm going to liken this to NASCAR.
Yep.
How did NASCAR start?
They were running moonshine.
And what sport did it? What sport evolved from that?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Stock car.
Oh, stock car. Yeah.
Then turned to NASCAR.
Right.
People, I'm not familiar with any of it. Somebody who's much more into this sport, please tell me the differences here. But back in the day, and forgive me, I wasn't alive back then. It's just my brief summary of how I see these things going down. You have people that started with my car's better than your car, and we're going to go out and race it. And you had the Le Mans and those 24-hour races, and you had all that stuff. And you had Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, Ferrari. Who's the bestest, the fastest, etc. Right? What's NASCAR today, though?
It's not.
It is. Every single on there you have Toyotas, Fords, and Chevys, but all it is they are 100% the same car with different stickers on it. Okay,
that's right.
And forgive me when I say it doesn't interest me. I'm going to go back way off topic, but that's why when you were saying originally when we missed the one show, and I said I was going to try to record, but I couldn't find a quiet spot because I was in Myrtle Beach, and apparently it's Mustang Week, and I didn't know anything about that. Okay, which meant that there was 4,000 or 5,000 different Mustangs down there. But once again, every one of them was tuned up differently. It's like going to a Harley show. Most of them, you have 10 models and they all buy the same, they all customize it, but they all buy the same Harley shifter or the same Harley exhaust, whatever. So you end up with dozens and dozens and dozens of them that end up being identical, even though people customize them themselves, And that's when I say it's in the Mustang Week, they were all the same. They all had exhaust and wheels and everything, and they were all racing around the streets and revving them up because they thought they had the greatest thing in the world. And to some people, that very much interests them. Some people very much love NASCAR. My brother-in-law watches it. To me, it's just a bunch of guys going in circle, turning left.
The wrong way.
Yeah, right. So you're making the wrong turn. So is it still cheating? Okay, let's bring it back to the question you're asking. I go out there twofold. One, because I enjoy the training, so therefore I kind of enjoy the racing to see where I am. I personally don't think I would take anything. Okay. That being said, though, I take the Vinny's multivitamin and magnesium and B12. Okay. Those are just 4 supplements, but I don't take anything else, right? Some people do. They try all kind of different things, gimmicks, tricks, if you will, whatever, right? I just personally don't want to put that stuff into my body because I don't care if you've ran, tests on lab rats. Most of the results of this stuff, you're not going to see the actual effects on it for decades. You know what I mean? And I don't believe fitness is going to come in the form of a pharmaceutical. I think ideally it's eat better, exercise a little bit, and that's going to help everything in the long run, And so for me, I don't want to get 3 minutes faster at the risk of losing my liver in my 50s. You know what I mean? So that's not a risk that I would personally be willing to take. Secondarily, I would be much less interested in the sport of it, if you will. That being said, watching it, because now they're not just people performing at their best. They're pharmaceutically enhanced. You know what I mean? That doesn't interest me. You know what I mean? I don't think we don't need every perfect specimen. I like seeing the struggles and the real people out there trying their hardest.
Right. And I think that's what it comes down. What I was trying to say is that if it does no damage to you at all. Personally,
now, for how many years did doctors say that smoking was good for you?
Right, exactly. So I'm with you on that. I feel like if you're taking
I will eat something, I'll eat food that is natural, if you will. You know what I mean? But once it's coming out of a pharmacy somewhere, I don't. No, you know what I mean? It's extreme. I take the medicines in extreme cases where I'm in pain and I need it, and that's it. Like I don't even take Advil whenever I have a headache. You know what I mean? It'll go away.
Yeah, the most thing I do, and we were talking about this before the show, is the most thing I'll take is coffee if I can do it. Yeah. Now, with my health, I do take some meds, so there are things I have to take, but
they're life and death, and you have to.
And I get migraines, so I there are times where I have to resort to it. Right. But if I can, my first go-to at a headache is to drink coffee.
Yeah.
The bottom line to me is that taking a pill, it's kind of like the diabetes thing, that we have talked about before, is that you're taking the pill so you can eat crap.
Yeah.
Now you're going to take exercise. You're going to take an exercise pill to lose weight and to become fit, so you don't have to eat right and exercise.
Right.
But where I can see this happening, and this is where their focus is, if you read more of the study and the guy that came up with this, is that he's focusing on MS.
Yeah.
Now, if it helps people like that, all for it.
Once again, life and death. To get 3 minutes faster in my local 5K, I can go buy a freaking medal for $3. I don't need it that much.
Right, exactly right. So I think we come from at the same point. Do I think it's cheating? Yes, I do.
Yeah, but I have to. Once again, I'll split the hairs and go to the opposite end. Is it cheating? No, cheating is I'm breaking the rules. I'm not following them as they are set out. Is it by definition cheating? No. Is it something that I would want? Something that I would want to do, or people that I would respect, admire, and go along with? No.
Well, it comes back to that Lance Armstrong, reason or excuse that everybody was doing it.
Yeah,
it doesn't make it right.
And you know what? Now, once again, I'll take the opposite. I'm going to take the opposite of everything you say today.
Okay.
I'm not defending Lance. But that was his job, and that's what everybody was doing.
Right.
If he wanted to win and he wanted to make money, at that, that's what he felt he had to do if he wanted to be a professional cyclist that's going to win the Tour de France.
Right.
Exactly. So if he didn't take it, probably wouldn't have won, wouldn't have had the money, wouldn't have got the sponsorships. That's the life that he wanted. Once again, though, that's where, whether it's baseball, football, any of it, hey, we're watching people, play a game. We're idolizing these folks, and people need to realize, hey, that there are some of the healthy naturals out there, but most likely majority of these folks are on stuff that they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? But that's where you can't compare yourself. You're not That's why most of us aren't professional baseball players. That's why we're not professional cyclists. That if that's the cost of being a professional cyclist, I ain't willing to pay it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think people that think like you and I do on that, when they get it right, it's not the norm. People are willing to put their health on the line for that currency, the current gratification of winning.
Yeah,
we've seen people do that in marathons just by cutting the course or bib stealing or something like that. They're more concerned about, and this is what we'll get into. This is what part of the reason I started thinking about for another show topic is, what's your end game? Is your end game to be healthy, or is your end game to stand on a podium?
Yeah,
and if your end game is not, everybody has their own reasons.
Right.
For me, we've seen people that get upset because they didn't stand on a podium.
Right.
Where they could be like, so much more healthy and in shape than we are.
Right.
And we'd kill to have their time, but who cares about the podium,
Right. But also then too, I always go to the immediate. I can look at the people that are 3 to 5, let's just say 30 seconds faster than me. You know what I mean? Those are people that I'm, when I say envious of and say, I maybe could have ran a little bit better, lost a pound, something, you know what I mean? That's within my control. But when I look at some of the times and people are 5-10 minutes faster than me, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm an elite by any stretch, but to go from a 1:10 to a 1 hour sprint triathlon, that's going to take so much more training time away from my family, A, that I'm not willing to give up, B, that's going to probably be a bigger investment in gear than I would ever care. I'm not going to spend more on a bike than I would on a car. And lastly, you know what I mean? It's just, it means that I right now still can get out, go for a run or a bike and enjoy the time with friends, and you're training at a whole different level at that point. That's where I'm not personally willing to go to that level.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we're going to leave it there because that's going to be a whole other topic.
Sounds good.
All right, man. So before I go, remember Zendurance Now, if you mention the show or the podcast or any of us, the group, they'll give you $100 off the first month of training. And if you're interested in teamE4E gear, if you go to SQUADLOCKER and look for Endurance for Everyone, that store is now 24/7, so it's not opening and closing anymore.
Yeah.
So now instead of having to wait to the end of the month or whatever, the end of the period to get your stuff, you're going to get it within 6 to 12 days.
That's fantastic.
So yeah,
good job, John.
Good job. And so, well, that was on them. They figured out that people weren't doing it because of that reason, I think.
Yeah.
So go out there. Also, I'll be posting it again online, but I am working towards with team in training for St. Anthony's Triathlon and need donations. So it doesn't come out of my pocket totally. I don't mind
not
paying
completely.
a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind a little bit, but God. So I'll be posting that. So if you can afford a few bucks here or there, it's a good cause. Everybody has cancer that's in their life that's at some point or another, not personally, someone in their family. Affects us all.
Yeah, we're all going to have somebody affected by it.
So it's good to give. It's good to give to an organization that actually puts it into research towards to get rid of that disease once and for all.
Yes, sir.
So until next week, Rob.
Until next week, that's all I got, John. Thank you.
Episode 92 out.
In the bag.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Endurance for Everyone podcast. If you have comments or questions for the show, send an email to teamE4E@enduranceforeveryone.com. And remember, swim calm, bike strong, and run steady.
Zendurance Now Coaching, the relentless pursuit of excellence. Are you looking to increase your fitness level, get stronger, or reach a new goal? There are many people who share that same desire, but often life or injuries get in the way, and their progress slows or even stops. Professional coaching brings a unique element to staying focused, developing the right fitness and nutrition plan, and having a certified coach to help you stay on target and reach your goals. Zendurance Now helps you reach your goals through customized training plans, one-on-one consultation, and constant motivation. Whether you're a local or remote, we've got this. Visit www.zendurancenow.com and learn how we can help you.